Last week, when we went to bee school, one of the instructors was showing a presentation about the state of the bees. It's a very good presentation. I really enjoyed it. One of the charts that he showed was about livestock. He showed how cattle are the #1 livestock, and in the chart he showed a big cow sitting on the bottom, and then sitting on top of the cow was a pig. So the pigs are #2. On top of the pig was a big bee, so bees are #3, and then on top of the bees was a chicken. And so bees are the third most important livestock. I don't know what his source was. I tried to find this chart online. If I find it, I will post it. But I thought that was very interesting. I don't know if this was based on economics or what. I would think that it's just an economic viewpoint, since, in my opinion, bees would be the #1 and most important livestock, because if you consider our dietary needs and nutritional needs, and the fact that bees pollinate 1/3 of all the food we eat, so without bees we wouldn't have that part of our diet available to us. Also, if you factor in the environmental impact that some of these other livestock have, like cattle and pigs, I believe that there are studies that show that they are having a bad effect on the environment, while bees have a positive effect on the environment. So I would think that, given all of that, and even taking into account the economics, bees should be #1, but I don't know. I don't know what the sources were for all this. So given that bees are at least #3, they are very important for us, and we need to be doing our best to try to protect them and help them. Everybody's read in the news about colony collapse disorder. If the cattle livestock were being affected as badly as the bees were, I think that we would be in a much more alarmed state about what's happening. But because people don't tend to recognize the importance of the bees to agriculture and the environment and our own health, it doesn't really get as much attention as it should. So what can we do to save the bees? Well, I think the first thing that we can do is actually something that everybody can do, and it's very easy. In fact, you don't have to do anything at all, and that is, don't use pesticides. There is a strong link between pesticides and colony collapse disorder. So if you have flowering plants in your yard, or if you keep a garden, don't use any kind of pesticides on them. The second thing we can do is to educate ourselves. There's a very good film out that everybody should watch called Vanishing of the Bees. If you have Netflix, it's available for free to stream. If you don't have Netflix, you can get a Netflix account for free for the first 30 days. It's also available on iTunes. I'll put a link to the vanishingbees.com website down in the notes. It gives a lot of good information about colony collapse disorder, some of the possible causes, and what we can do to help. The third thing we can do is to try to do our best to support organic agriculture, since if you don't use pesticides at home, there's still a great deal of the agriculture industry that does use pesticides. So by supporting the organic agriculture, we support not using pesticides. I know that can be a little bit more expensive to buy organic. I personally know that for a fact. But there's other benefits to buying organic. That is, the food is more nutritious, better quality, and you may be paying more at the market, but you'll be paying less when it comes to health costs and other things that we end up paying for by buying food that is not as nutritious. Also, shopping locally, shopping at the farmers markets, and other ways. The fourth thing we can do is, this does require a little bit more work, and that is plant things in your garden that are bee friendly. You can do a lot of research on the internet, read books about plants and flowers that the bees like. They like to have flowers that bloom throughout the seasons and not just at one time. It gives them more food to eat and keeps them healthy year-round. The fifth thing, which is probably a little bit more difficult for people to do, is to keep some bees. When I first heard about colony collapse disorder, I thought that the commercial beekeepers had it under control, they knew what they were doing, they could handle it. But It's true that there are some very good beekeepers out there, and they are doing their very best, but they can't do it by themselves, and they need everybody's help. So by keeping bees yourself, we help to diversify the number of bees that are available. We help to keep our own yards with bees, because we need them for pollination, and you also get the benefits of the honey and other things that come with bees. It is a little more difficult to do, but I'm hoping that I can show that it's not that hard to do through this vlog. There's a very good film out called Vanishing Airplane.
Vanishing Airplane.